Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 125 on March 27th, 2019. This is our last show in March, guys.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hello.
And Jimmy Trammell.
Good evening, everyone.
And Mike will not be joining us because he is in post-op recovery. Thoughts and prayers to our buddy.
Wait, he's allowed to skip the show just because, he's got a little surgery?
Slacker.
What's wrong with that?
I wasn't going to call him out on the air, but, I mean, if that's what we're doing, then yeah, slacker.
What? I mean, goodness sakes.
Couldn't he get one of those mobile saline bags or something like that and call to the show?
No. I don't understand. How could somebody miss a show because they're not feeling well? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I wasn't going to go there,
You guys had a good show last week. I did watch it after the fact. Good job, guys.
Well, we muddled through.
No, you guys did fine. No, it was a really good show. But for me, I'm sorry I was gone. I picked up the flu. And then as the flu came on, it turned into its own, sinus infection thing that I'm now currently going through. So the house was basically sick, and we were all kind of dead. So I appreciate you covering for me.
See, and that's the problem with having other people in your house.
Oh,
is everyone gets sick?
Is that the solution? Just nobody have anybody else in the house?
Well, I mean, if you never interact with anybody else, you never get sick.
Okay.
Because you get sick by encountering germs that your body doesn't recognize.
I foresee real serious problems with this solution, but okay. Let's have some strange nation try this out, see if it works for them.
No. It doesn't need to be a strange nation. It'll just be me alone on my 40 acres.
Okay, 40 acres
minimum.
Wow. Okay, well then you have plenty of space
deal
to
with
spread
people.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. No, in that 40 acres, that means the guy next to you also has their own 40 acres?
Hey, if in a perfect world, yes.
Okay, and
no,
so
my theory is I want 30 to 40 acres minimum. That way, you build your house right dead center in the middle of that 30 to 40 acres, and no matter how far out civilization and the suburbanites push, they will never be any closer than like 15 to 20 acres in any direction from your house.
Yeah, I don't think this would work. I think you would find that there's, are more people than space in the world for that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
See, if you were around back in the 1800s, you could have showed up on, somewhere on this one place and one day on your horse, and they'd pass out these stakes, and then they'd fire a gun in the air. You take off on your horse.
You can still do that. There's this place.
You stick a stake in the ground.
There's this place called Wyoming where they have lots of space. And right now you can pick up a 40-acre plot for about $50,000 on the high side.
I believe it. I actually believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And Al-Anon says Clyde the Hermit. And we've talked about this before, that my life's goal since I was little was to be a hermit.
So so here's a question then. Would you be okay if you were underground?
Oh, absolutely. I've actually looked into, because let's say when I finally get my property and I'm finally able to move there permanently, I need a structure, someplace to stay. And I've been looking into the cost effectiveness of they make the like bunkers, but I mean, you can get them as just configured in any way you want. You just do a temporary living quarters. I mean, dude, I lived underwater for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
My bed was like 8 stories below the water line for many years. I'd sit in pump rooms for hours on end on
Yeah,
watch.
well,
Yeah, I can live
Clyde,
yeah,
in.
it's not a
go
bad
for it.
idea. I'm sure the acreage is a lower price down in Middle Earth there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Something
But
like that.
see, and that's the thing. I don't want anybody like fly over with their drone and have any idea that I'm even there.
Hmm.
Just stay off my lawn.
It's an interesting idea, Clyde. I'll say that.
Yeah. And on
Okay.
that note,
I don't know how you'll get. I guess you'll be able to do the show from down there too. So,
dude, internet is. I mean, well, in another 5 years, we'll have 5G everywhere,
oh, but
right?
don't we already have 5G? No.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
kidding.
yeah.
I'm
Oh
kidding.
yeah.
I'm
Forgot.
kidding.
And
I already have 5G.
It's slower than other people's.
Oh
4G.
yeah, he's
Oh.
AT&T. He's got the AT&T fake 5G, right?
And I
Yep.
just found out that accidentally that Twitch has a shape to change mode to change
Change to one dark mode. That's
I
Sweet.
see that. Yeah,
That
it's
was
not
cool.
bad. Not bad.
But all right. Speaking of hermits and people that don't want to deal with the rest of society, what's going on with Apple?
Hey, it's not just Apple, but we'll go ahead and talk about them. Hey, Apple is had their big event this last week. We got a lot of interesting little pieces of news in there today this week for us to talk about. We're going to start with the fact that they have officially announced Apple TV Plus. It's going to be a subscription service. It will be ad-free, and it's coming this fall. And that's almost everything that we know about it at this point. We know also that they gave us basically a rundown of all the various people that are getting together to make these shows that'll be on Apple TV, and gave us a little like sizzle reel of different things that are going to be on it. And they had a whole lot of the personalities that they hired to make the shows to come out on the stage and talk about their shows as they're going to be coming up.
Did they show trailers for those shows?
The
No.
sizzle reel had a little bit of information, but no real trailers. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was, but I mean, if you think about it, I mean, Apple is a hardware and software company, and now they're getting into the content business.
Sure.
So they, I don't know. To me, it almost it was a little weird. I mean, that's for sure. But it seemed like they put it into a keynote like what they're used to giving, right? And tried to advertise these shows as if they were showing a piece of hardware or something, right? Is what it seemed like to me.
Okay.
Now the one thing I'll say about the Apple TV Plus, I mean, the service looks interesting. And from what I read, they have like 30 plus shows in the works, right? And that when the shows finally get here, which will be in the fall, they'll release a group of them together, and then every week or so they'll release a new show thereafter, right? Is the way it's supposed to work. Which sounds about right to me.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was enough information. I actually did not see the keynote. I only saw a little bit of I did see the sizzle reel. I specifically went out and searched for the sizzle reel because everybody said, yeah, the sizzle reel actually had some cool stuff. Kind of was what I was hoping for. It just wasn't enough. And yeah, it was some interesting actual tidbits from the shows. But again, they were right. There wasn't enough information there for anybody. So.
I've been hearing this for long enough. It still seems like vaporware to me, so I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not saying it'll never come, but
I mean, this kind of goes in line with anything else that they've done, right? I mean, we were talking about the iPhone for years before it finally came out, right? And when it came out, they announced it in January. 6 months later, it wasn't when the phone actually came out, right? Same thing with Apple Music, right?
But
there was rumors about it for a couple of years or so, and then they announced it, and then it was months later before it came out.
You could say the same thing about the iPad and their smart speaker and various levels of success. The only thing that has been the super success of the we talked about it for a long time. It finally came out. You could argue is the iPhone, but at the same time, they didn't really talk about it. They were all in super rumor mode for a long time.
And honestly,
Well, it was the same.
I
same
didn't
with
hear
this,
about
right?
the iPhone.
I mean, this. Oh, go ahead.
I'd say honestly, I never heard about the iPhone until it was like out.
Right.
Oh yeah, there was rumors.
Yeah.
There was rumors for years before it got there, because they went in cahoots with Motorola and make that rocker phone. Yeah,
Yes,
years before the iPhone, right? And then after that, project, they went off and they actually started working.
That Apple was involved in the rocker, because I had the rocker and I absolutely hated it, and now I know why I hated it.
Well, it was Motorola. It was Motorola that manufactured it, right?
Yeah, but Apple actually helped develop the software.
Yeah,
because it literally had
it was the OS. I mean, it worked fine.
It literally had the iPod interface inside of it,
and that drove me crazy.
iTunes app for it is what it was,
and that's what drove me crazy. So
you didn't want to use you don't use one as a click wheel to do everything on your phone? Come on, I know it doesn't have one of those, but come on.
But I think I've still got that in a box someplace. I'll have to dig that out.
Ooh, it's probably worth something now. You never know.
But I will say, the Apple TV Plus is going to be an interesting service. I mean, we're going to have to wait a while before we really know, right? I mean, it's definitely something I'll try, and honestly, it just depends on how good these shows are and will it be enough of them. Clearly, to me, it seems like they're wanting to compete with the Hulus and the Netflix out there, right? That's what
They want to be one of those networks where everybody feels like they got to get it because it's got the show they want on it. And so they're trying really hard to have a whole bunch of shows that a whole lot of people will want. We don't know how much it is. We don't know anything much about the shows yet. It's still too much in the air for us to make any type of judgment call.
And to take that contrast, right? And for people who didn't watch the keynote, right? Imagine this. Imagine when Netflix started doing their own content. Imagine before the show ever aired, and maybe it was 6 months or so before the show aired, that Kevin Spacey were to come out and just give you like about a 2-minute elevator speech on what Game of or House of Cards would be like.
Boy, this metaphor is not aged well, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of what it was like. Was that?
I know what you're getting.
If that were the case, I would feel bad for the ladies I had to deal with them backstage.
Like I said, it didn't age well. This metaphor was perfect.
But no, I mean, it's one of those things where it's with as little as they have to show for that, it's too soon to talk it up, I think. I mean, the shows and
Well, and I don't disagree, but the thing is, you got to look at who Apple is, right? I mean, Apple is a hardware and software company. This is their general trend of how they've done things over the years. So they're still following that same trend, and they're trying to apply it to this. I agree. I don't think it's not the traditional way how you would do content. Typically, you'd have trailers or something of that sort. And they didn't have any. I think they had that one trailer where it
sizzle reel is a cheap cop out. That's the crap. We don't have enough content to actually show. Okay, call the sizzler. We need a reel. So I seriously hope there's a guy out there that named the sizzler. All he does is make sizzle reels.
And I mean,
and offer awesome all-you-can-eat food.
Yeah, but I do like the fact that it's going to be ad-free. They just say that right up front. Ad-free content.
Ad-free subscription, which means there will be a price. Which means it'd be nice to know how much do people have to pay for this stuff. But again, the argument is, hey, this is all good information, but you didn't need to tell us without giving us the rest of the information. Now we're all just kind of complained about it. Although they are going to get an extra news cycle out of this conversation. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, bottom line, all that really doesn't matter. What really matters is when it does get here, is it good? Right? I mean, that's really the bottom line.
Yeah. I will say, in regards to this, one thing that they did announce um, was and I heard somebody loudly talking about this today. Uh,
Mhm.
their exact words were, "It's about time somebody lets me log into my profile with whatever account I want." Apple
Sure.
invented talking about how Apple invented this new thing, and I was like, yeah, you already do that with YouTube TV. You
Well,
know,
Yeah.
well, the cool thing about this subscription is that it will be family sharing,
yeah,
right?
it
So you can have 6 accounts share one account,
yeah,
basically.
and everybody gets to log in with their own credentials,
Right.
Hmm.
which, like I said, that's what Google does with YouTube TV when you set up the family plan. And
Yep.
but I was like, oh, okay, here we go again with the look at
Apple
this
did it
thing that
first, right?
Apple invented. No,
Well,
they,
Apple's had family sharing for years, right?
I know.
Yeah, that's true. But Clyde's trying to say that this person thinks that they invented sharing the TV accounts with other
Yeah,
accounts, and
because
that's
like
Oh,
why
with
everyone's doing
Hulu and Netflix, you log in with a shared account, and
it.
then
Right.
you have your own profile. And but that's what
It's all right.
I
No,
just
it's all
kind
good
of
stuff. The truth is,
I just
and
took a deep
everything
breath and
Apple,
walked away.
everything that Apple did that was the sharing thing was actually good stuff. So we'll have a lot more to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, I
But
still
we get
haven't
more
seen
Apple news.
anything that I'm still waiting for that thing that Apple makes that brings me over, and I haven't seen anything I'm particularly interested in.
Maybe you'll be interested in the new Apple TV app. It's
Ooh.
it's an updated app. They did a couple little updates to the app. That's kind of interesting. We'll let that be something we look at later. But interestingly enough, it's coming to other platforms as well, including
Hmm.
smart TVs like Vizio and Samsung and Sony. It's also coming to the Roku and the Fire TV. So you're going to be able to pick up and actually use the Apple TV service, their TV app, on things outside of the Apple ecosystem, which is a good thing. Now, I ask you a question. Aren't all Sony's smart TVs running Android?
Not all of them, but they have Android. Most of their flagship models do have Android TV built in.
So
Yes.
Well,
they're
the LGs do.
going to be bringing this Apple TV app to Sharp TVs, Sony TVs, smart TVs. So
LG as well.
and LG as well. And they aren't going to bring it to Android though.
Nope.
Android TV.
Which means it won't be on the Sony or LG TVs that have Android TV built in. It'll be probably the proprietary smart.
Okay. So
Or the ones that have like Roku or something, because it is coming to Roku and Fire TV. So when they say it's coming to smart TVs, I don't think it's going to be the proprietary smart TVs. I think it's going to be the TVs that have Fire or Roku built in, because it's the same app, and you can say, hey, we're bringing it to these two platforms, and we're also bringing it to smart TVs. Well, no, you're still bringing it to that platform. But I mean, I might be wrong. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, they are going cross-platform with it, and I think that what that shows is, I think I made this comment before, Apple's getting serious about services, right? So, yeah, and if you're going to get serious about services, you need to be cross-platform.
yeah, the fact that they're hitting, it would make sense if they're going to go anywhere. They're going to go with their new buddies at Amazon, so that makes a lot of sense. But the fact that they hit Roku as well, good on you. That is the most popular platform out there. You're going to hit tons of people who would otherwise never touch your stuff. So that's very good on your Apple. I know you apparently have this strange, like, we don't want to trust you Google thing that you got going on and don't want to do Android TV, but at least you hit Roku. I'm not going to, that's a good choice. Those are good options for you.
And as Beam points out, when is someone going to create an orange service with devices so we can compare apples to oranges? But I guess Sling TV does have the orange package.
It's true.
Good point.
So yes,
Good point.
you will be able to once this vaporware becomes a reality. Finally.
Well,
Well, they just announced it on Monday.
yeah, and if you have an Apple device, you can have it now. It's working. It's just all the other platforms don't have it out yet. So,
But I think what was the date? Did they say summer?
I do
When
not.
the Apple TV app would be out. So we'll.
And
should know
I
that.
was talking Apple TV Plus, not the Apple TV app, because they're two separate things.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it is two separate things.
Yeah, that was the vaporware I was talking about.
Apple TV is also doing a channels feature, which allows them to take your various streaming services that are compatible and able to make it so you can sign up and use them under your Apple account. And that way, if you have access to your Apple TV app, you can access any of those channels, like kind of like what Amazon did with the Stars, HBO, Cinemax, where you could actually have it all under one bill and be able to have a single interface in order to access the content on these various channels and then return back to that interface when you're done, which in some ways is like the holy grail for some people. They don't want to have to jump between different interfaces to get the thing. So this is a cool idea. The question is, there's plenty of content providers that are not on the list. In particular, as everybody is quite aware, Netflix is not there.
Nor Hulu.
But you're not going to find on any platform. I mean, like you said, this is essentially the Fire model. This is what Android or what Amazon does with their Fire app. But you don't see Netflix content or Hulu content broken out, and either. You will get a channel for it, and then it takes you into the list of Hulu stuff. Yeah. But and I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, Amazon does this. Roku does this, right? I mean, if you're going to be a content provider, it makes sense to do this.
Yeah, I mean, because the difference is like Showtime. Showtime is a channel. They have Showtime content, right? HBO is a channel. It has content. Hulu and Netflix are aggregates of other channels. So, I mean, which would explain and make why it makes perfect sense, just like this Apple thing. But yeah, I don't know.
And some of the this is just speculation here, right? But there's some rumors going around that Apple may offer bundles of these channels. Yeah. Like maybe you might bundle HBO, Showtime, Stars, you might bundle those three together. And if you buy a bundle through them, these channels there on the Apple TV, then they may either give you a discount or give you for free the Apple TV Plus.
That's a possibility.
So that might be pretty good value there if that's the case.
Yeah, the idea of channels, the idea of handling bundles and things like this, it's fine. It's actually a really good thing. I think this is very good, and I'm just hoping that Apple has not signed some type of exclusive deals that you can't have other companies try to do the same thing. Other than that, this is awesome. Keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, more competition. Rock on.
All right, Apple also announced Apple Arcade. Apple Arcade is another subscription service that you will be able to sign up for. We don't know how much for yet. And you will be able to play various premium, quote-unquote, premium games that are available that are you to play on your Apple TV, your Macintosh, and your iOS devices. Also with family sharing.
Isn't this the thing we talked about a couple weeks ago?
It is, and we've all
game
wondered.
Service.
And this is exactly what it is, and we all wondered if it was be some streaming service or if it would be some, some type of service where you could download the games or what was it? And I said at that time, oh, I know what this is going to be. This is them saying you pay a fee, you can play all of these iOS games.
I was on board
I was
with that.
kind of right because these are not necessarily low-end games, iOS games. In fact, they're paying some of these companies to make some of these games and producing some of these pretty higher-end titles. But they're all designed to work on every one of those platforms. So they're iOS games.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'll say is that I'm pretty sure I probably won't subscribe to this. I'm not a big gamer, right? but what I will say is that, or the thing that I kind of like, right, is that Apple, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of ride the fence on it a little bit here, but the one thing is that a lot of these games, they're going to make them not so violent. It's not going to be just the bang bang shoot 'em up games that a lot of people like to play, right? And then
you got to go to Cinemax for those.
Right. Yeah.
No, they're on the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
EA or Origin.
But Apple's working with those developers, helping them, bring maybe some games that wouldn't ordinarily get any attention, bring them to light, right? And based on what they did show in the keynote, I mean, it looks pretty compelling. The games like what they displayed on the keynote. Again, it's not for me. I'm not going to subscribe to it, but it did look pretty interesting.
Make no mistake, those kind of games that are designed for a touch interface, there are some pretty awesome games out there for that. Again, no good information about what the games are. This is going to be a theme for Apple today. No price, no real date about when it's coming out. I feel like they should have waited to tell us more later. But that's me.
Well, again, this is a hardware and software company that's getting into something that they're brand new to, right? They're still trying to shoehorn it into how you would announce hardware or software.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
That excuse will work this time.
I mean, it's what they've done with all their products, right?
No, I'm not certain that's true. They often announce products and actually have them available right away. All right. Moving on. Apple News Plus has come out. Apple News is actually something you can download and use today as long as you have an iOS device. It allows you to get all kinds of access to a large section of magazines and also subscription to access to some of the newspaper articles that are available today. People notice that maybe you don't get as much of the newspaper as you would if you would want to get. There's maybe only some headline news articles on there for you. And it looks like so far a couple other things are going on, like maybe some bugs with early access to it, and also nobody's able to get to the back catalogs yet. People are saying that it's happened as well. So for $10 a month, to have access to a whole bunch of different magazines, like anything from, I mean, I don't know, just about everything you could think of.
Well, yeah, I think this came from the Texture acquisition that they made a year or so ago, right? And so you're getting all those magazines that it had. I think like 300 plus magazines. And then they're adding in like the LA Times and the Wall Street Journal and the big Canadian paper that I can't think of the name of, right? So that's what you're getting with this subscription. I don't know. It seems like a fair price for what you're getting, but I don't know. I mean, you just got to have time to be able to read some of that, right? And I know for me at least, I just wouldn't have time. They are going to give you a free subscription for the first 30 days when you sign up for it.
Yep.
So you could certainly try it out, right, and see if you like it, and then subscribe if you do like it. I don't know. I might start the free trial. I'll probably wait until April 1st. If I'm going to do a free trial, I like to start the first day of the month. That way I know how much time I got left on it, right?
Yeah.
But I may give the free trial, just to see what it's like. But I really doubt if I'll really subscribe to this, though.
Yeah, I have no interest. I don't have a iOS device, and I don't read magazines anymore. So, and if I was going to get a magazine, I want to be able to hold it and, tactile. Yeah,
I don't blame you.
Not interested.
Okay. Well, that was basically everything that they announced at the Apple story today. The whole thing was called the Showtime event, and they didn't show much. So it felt like they showed a lot. Maybe they showed a lot. That's the thing, but not much substance. All truth be told.
They spent a lot of time. I felt like with the all the celebrities and that kind of thing coming up on stage. They had Steven Spielberg. He came up.
Apparently, he got in trouble too.
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon and the other lady that's doing that show with her, Jennifer Aniston, right? Steve Carell is also going to be in that show. He was on
Never heard of
stage.
any of these people.
Jennifer Aniston, you've never heard of her?
Nope.
Never heard of a show called Friends?
Nope. Oh, she was in that Leprechaun movie in 1993. I remember her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she wants you to forget that.
But they had several celebrities, and they took way more time on what I felt like they should have in that part of the keynote, right? So that's, I don't know. Again, to me, it just seemed like they were just trying to shoehorn it into their normal format of keynote, and it just didn't quite feel right to me, when it was going. I mean, I kind of like some of it was pretty good. I mean, you hear them, kind of talking a little bit. The one guy from Silicon Valley, the one that plays Dinesh, what's his name?
Kamal
Nanjiani. Nanjiani, that's him. When he was up doing his show, right, he did a good job. I think he won the audience over. He really got up and did really well. The other ones were not that they were completely terrible or anything. It just, I don't know. It just seemed
well, but that was what I was getting at earlier, in the fact that they did that to make up for the fact that they didn't have actual trailers to show, and I think that did more damage. The people, looking at it going, why are we sitting through this? Show us a 2-minute trailer. And, it felt awkward. I saw some videos after the fact, and it just seemed really awkward. It was the kind of stretch. Someone's back there, stretch. We're filling for time.
The format to me was just a little off in general, right? I mean, there were some moments that were okay, they were good. Camille was one of them, right? But it just, I don't know. To me, that part of the show should have been done different, no doubt.
Well, outside of Apple news, we have some other news that happened this week. Just a little reminder, if you are a big fan of Batman, everything Batman, DC Universe is giving you a free day to go to their website and gather all the kind of content from Batman. And on March 30th, which is the 80th anniversary since the original release of a Batman comic, at which point you will be able to watch all kinds of various Batman shows and Batman movies, and even read Batman comic books on their website for free. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think they just had another kind of like free weekend last weekend too. So they're pushing hard for you to try out DC Universe, your source for DC entertainment.
A couple weekends ago, I was at the cheap theater in my neck of the woods that I really like, and they were showing 1966 Batman.
The movie?
Yes. And I was so like, I wasn't able to go, but as it says in the chat, One True Batman, that is the best Batman movie ever made, and he will be forever the greatest Batman that ever lived.
Yeah, Adam West was really great. Back then. I still enjoy going back and watching the old TV series and the movie as well. But this DC Universe, this kind of interests me. I think I might go out on April 30th. Is that what day?
Saturday.
What is that, a Saturday?
I believe that is Saturday. Yes, it is.
Okay, good deal. So I might actually go out and do that.
Yeah.
Right. That
reminds me. 9 sodium atoms walk into a bar, followed by Batman. Na 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 Batman.
Okay.
I got it.
I did not totally explained it. Hey, MoviePass is back in the news. Boy, how does this company keep coming back in the news every week? I don't know how.
That's how they stay in, by making sure they're in the news every week. That's how people forget or don't forget them.
So MoviePass has this new concept for getting you to go in and see movies, and their concept is, hey, you want to earn a free ticket? just come in and we'll have you sit down and literally watch 20, 15 minutes worth of ads, and it'll get you the points you need in order to go in and see a free movie. So this idea is allow. Apparently, they have special devices that will actually make sure your eyes are watching the advertisement and not looking away. At which point you have to get started and watch them and make sure that you're watching and being exposed to these ads in order for you to to have access to this. So,
oh my God, they've actually taken on the timeshare model to be able to get people to go in and watch the movie.
Well, no, I mean,
that's what they do with timeshare.
This model, I mean, this has been around forever. It's rewarding people to do something that they otherwise probably wouldn't want to do. And if I remember a guy I worked with, he would watch commercials and then give feedback on those commercials, and he would get rewards based on how many, and certain commercials would have higher rewards. That's how he ended up watching a video about hacking a soda machine. And then we realized, hey, we've got one of those soda machines upstairs. And we immediately went upstairs and cleaned out the entire machine for $1. I mean, we left all the soda on the counter and said, your machine's like messed up. You need to fix it. Design flaw. But
yeah, it's kind of like in Orlando when we used to take when my daughter was young. We used to take her to the theme parks up there, and there'd always be these guys, around the hotels, like, "Hey, you want free tickets to the park today? Yeah. Come and listen to our sales pitch for 90 minutes, right? Sure. And that kind of thing, right?"
Yeah, so. I mean that's been around forever for all different markets. If you offer a reward, and some people will be willing to do the thing for the reward. If you're gonna get these people to watch commercials hey, can we get you to watch these 10 commercials, and we're not going to give you anything in return. We just want you to watch them. They'll tell you you're number one and keep on walking. Right. So rock on.
But in a way, when I give it a second thought, this is a little bit genius, right? Because most people are just going to wave this off and like, no, I ain't got time for that, right? And then
ain't nobody got time for that.
But for the people that do, because there's going to be a lot of people that will, right? And for the people that do, that's valuable information, right? Advertisers will pay big money to know who those people are.
That's true.
Yeah, right. And this isn't actually a movie pass venture. This is just the dude, Stacy Spikes, who started. He was the co-founder of MoviePass.
Oh, okay.
Right.
My mistake.
So this is a completely different company. But
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, well, whoever it is, I mean, it's kind of genius in a way, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we don't want to attribute this idea to MoviePass if isn't there, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Looks like YouTube Premium is backing off a little bit on how they're doing things. It's official. They have canceled 2 of their YouTube Premium shows, the thriller Origin, sci-fi thriller, and the comedy Overthinking with Kat and June. And they are going to be stepping back on their premium shows, where they are not looking to put as much money as they originally were looking in order to continue the premium shows. They're also going to possibly take what their existing shows that are on the premium service and make it available for other people to see eventually. This is them rethinking their position in the market and looking at other different companies that have tried various similar things and failed. And so they are going back to what basically is YouTube's they're what they do best, which is the content video is user produced, and some of those producers are amazing and available for everybody for free or for no ads with the premium service. So it's good stuff.
This is another case of the rule of Clyde.
Oh yeah, you liked it?
I really liked Origin, and I recommended it a while back. That's the one where all the people wake up on the spaceship and
Mm-hmm.
don't know why the hell they're up and where everybody went. It was like Lost, but in space. Not to be confused with Lost in Space.
Right.
And it ended. I mean, the show ended on. It ended on a note that I was like, I don't know how they can do a season 2 anyway. So, but as long as they don't get rid of Ryan Hansen, solves crimes on TV, because that's back. I'm enjoying season 2 right now. I was super excited that came back.
Those they didn't say they're canceling anything else. They're only canceling those two. So, but I imagine what they will do is continue with their current projects if they continue to do well.
Yeah.
And probably not invest into new things.
And they definitely need a season 2 for Impulse. That one they can't leave. If you didn't watch Impulse, it's a new story set in the Jumper universe. If you remember the movie Jumper.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a really good show. I recommend it. I've been enjoying many of the YouTube premium, formerly YouTube Red shows. But again, this isn't surprising. This is just Google being Google, because that's what they do. They do a thing and then they go,
Didn't work. Pull it back.
Yeah, I still haven't tried this service yet. But every time I hear you guys talk about it, it makes me want to. Maybe I should give this a try. Right?
I particularly like. I mean, YouTube TV is the reason I have access to the YouTube Premium stuff. But you know, if you already have Hulu Live, so there doesn't make I don't see any compelling reason other than no ads on YouTube to drop YouTube or Hulu Live and go to YouTube TV. But I mean, there are other packages that get you the premium content without subscribing to YouTube TV. So, but
so if they cancel Origin, which that one sounds kind of compelling, I think you were making a compelling case for it.
Oh
and
yeah,
also
they canceled it already. But that's the one that I said. The way the season ended, it felt like, they left it on a good kind of story point that, let the users or let the watchers finish it in their minds. But because it was kind of a mix of horror and sci-fi and mystery, but.
Yeah, I mean, in that Cobra Kai, it seems kind of interesting to me as well. Right?
Oh yeah, I need to keep watching that. I've only seen a couple episodes.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah. It was definitely their biggest hit. So, all right. So this last week we had one of those big old conferences, and this one in Shenzhen, and it was for the Vive ecosystems. Which, but that means a bunch of vendors talking about their various products coming out for the Vive platform. But the one thing that everybody's kind of excited about is Vive's own Streamlink software. It's an application that you can use that will literally allow you to play anything that you can get off of one of those USB-powered HDMI capture cards. Or I'm sure it works with any other style one that's compatible with too. This means you can have your big screen experience of your video game, maybe not in 3D, but at least it's a big screen experience, using your Vive headset, and thus you will be able to play those games with the big screen. This is a really cool idea. Why wasn't this done before?
I don't know, but yes, please.
Yes, everybody should do this.
I mean, this will basically allow you anything that outputs to HDMI will allow you to use it on your Vive headset. I don't particularly like if you look at the headset, the USB port is in the middle at the top, which is kind of stupid when you look and you see the wired controller. That seems like a serious
that guy's he's playing with a
switch, a wired switch controller.
But no, it's obviously plugged into the Streamlink, as you see from the front of his hands of the HDMI streaming kit. So he's
Oh yeah, you're right. But still, the Streamlink is plugged into it head on the top and the front.
I don't
That
think
seems like a design oversight. Like they said, hey, we already have this thing that is not used for anything but charging, and we'll just use that.
Yeah, that I believe is the Vive Focus Plus, which is a new model they have. It
That's
does
the
also
AR
work with
capable.
It does
one.
also work with the older Vive systems as well. So if you already have a Vive system, feel free and use it, and watch your movie in big screen and or play your video games in big screen. Very cool.
But
the only thing I'll say about this is that this technology may one day be great. It's just not today.
it's exactly what I want right now. I just want a big screen without having to have a big screen.
I'm sure you and hundreds of other people will enjoy that.
Although I don't know how I feel about them calling it the Stream Link, because that sounds too much like the Steam Link that did a similar thing, but it just brought the Steam to your big TV in your living room.
Hey, well, you can use your Steam Link and your Stream Link to stream your Steam Link to your Vive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure a year from now, either this technology will evolve to the next thing.
Well,
I don't think we'll see anybody.
This is a good one
wearing
step away.
headsets like this.
Come on, this is a good one step away from what we want.
It's a progression in the technology that I will say, right? But it's the current implementation just still isn't there.
This headset, actually, there are a lot of real world applications outside of gaming for this headset. That was one thing we saw at CES. There were several companies. So like this headset has the cameras on the front so that you can see like AR, right? So you can see around you. And there's a lot of companies that are utilizing this headset for construction. So you can be on the job site looking at the thing you're building and overlay plans over it. And, we got to try it out, and it was really cool. And, there's a lot of real world use for these things outside of gaming, but I'm excited. I like it.
I think it's a good idea too. So there's an important thing we need to talk about. EU has passed their law that includes the new Article 13, also it's apparently renamed Article 17, copyright law. This is interesting because that means that it basically gets rid of safe harbor on the internet for copyright works. Sort of. It does have some loopholes. It does allow you to have parody. It does allow you to have a couple. There's a couple of things on there that should make fair use kind of okay. But it's up to each country to decide for themselves what is parody and what is fair use.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's a bunch of crap at this point.
It's just the EU reinforcing my disdain for the EU.
Sorry.
But just remember, all you Brits, good on you. You bailed, and you're not going to be held to this. So.
I guess there's one good thing about Brexit. Yep. All right. Next story we have is Twitch. I believe we talked about this briefly before, but it is now officially live. You can now use Twitch's what do they call it? Squad stream system. Wait, why aren't we using this?
I've been waiting for this to go live so that we can use it.
In order for you to have you and up to 3 buddies have your stream integrated into a single interface, so you can see one of the screens, a very large screen, and the other 3 screens, 2 other screens, up to 3 more people, as other optional people you could watch them and swap between them quickly for your streaming.
They made this specifically for us. I mean, it's right in the name, but they were holding it from me and they wouldn't let me use it.
Yeah, it's obviously, but it makes a lot of sense. It's the streaming that needs to happen where we all stream our own streams to Twitch and then have a mixed stream together. But no, MW Scottus One needs to know about this. So when he does his 4-player game nights playing Fortnite, they can, when one person dies, you can just swap to one of the other players. It'd be great. I think this is good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of looks like Google Hangouts, but a better version of it.
Oh no, I wouldn't call it a better version of Hangouts, but a different. It's an idea. It is kind of like Hangouts, and
Hmm.
better for gaming for a long shot.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's definitely geared for gaming, but yeah, we could use it in our
Well,
format
yeah,
as
the
well.
main
I
thing
would
is
say.
so that like if you're gaming and you're trying to capture you want other perspectives
Hmm.
with the people, so you can show all of the different perspectives in the same window without having to do complicated screen capturing, which is also processor intensive on top of the game you're trying to stream. So, yeah, we'll have to check this out because it's now live. Awesome.
Okay, we
Good
will.
deal.
Although if we try to do it for our show, when you click on one of other people, then you'll be getting their audio. So we'll all have to have everybody's
Yeah,
audio.
no, it would.
That won't work.
In uh, all jokes aside, yeah, it wouldn't work for what we're
Not
doing.
for what we're doing. All right, interesting story. BBC is kind of upset with how Google is doing their podcasting. Basically, BBC is not very happy with the fact that when you ask the Google Podcast app, or if you ask the Google app and the assistant to play one of the BBC podcasts, it suggests or automatically goes to the Google app in order to do the streaming of that podcast. And because of reasons that could be discussed further here in just a moment, they decided they don't want it to work that way, and they're just going to take their podcasts and not let you play them through the Google services anymore. Question. So,
And then Google said,
oh
"Wait,
no,
you had shows on our platform?"
no. This is actually the coolest part. If you ask me, the geekiest and most awesome part. They basically canceled Google from being able to access it by updating the robots.txt on their website, and so Google is following their own rules and not going to download the content anymore from their website.
Okay.
Which is exactly what it's kind of there for. That's kind of its job, and the fact that Google is following its own rules exactly is beautiful. That's so Google.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. Oh, you put robots.txt and you said we're not allowed to get it. We don't do that then. And so it's like, I mean, so immediately my brain goes, okay, there needs to be this really awesome, the Google robots are going to take over the world, and then somebody just basically holds up a robots.txt file and they all just walk away from you or something like that. Oh, well, if it's Google, so you can always stop them with robots.txt.
All right. Well, that's going to be good to know in the Android apocalypse that looms
Yep.
ahead when Google
Exactly.
tries to.
Bring your robots.txt file to prevent them.
Just hold up a sign that says robots.txt when the murder bot comes to your house to
Just turns around and
assassinate
walks
everybody,
away.
and it just
Just will
goes, hang its head and just
turn around.
walk away.
It's okay.
All right.
Let's see. Not the last thing. Streaming subscriptions. Apparently, according to some new market data, streaming subscriptions have gone up a lot. In fact, since from 2017 to 2018, there was a 27% jump in streaming service subscriptions. So it's basically been so much that now, if you count all the cable users, there's more streaming users than there are. Also, same thing if you count all the satellite users. It's overtaken.
But it's just a fad. It's never going to actually amount to anything.
Yeah. That's right. You said that a long time. This is just a fad. No, it's official. The cutting cord people are literally taking over, and all it is now going to be probably from this point on where all the other companies are going to be struggling to figure out how to keep alive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, obviously, I know people are doing this because that's why we're here. But
kind of what we do.
I mean, I know so many people that have never had cable, that will never have cable. My kids, they don't even know how channels work because they've never they don't use TV.
How do I rewind this?
Exactly. And so, I mean, it was inevitable, and
Oh yeah, the internet's just growing in speed and size. It's just going to be a better platform to do all this in the future. So, go ahead, Jimmy. We kept on interrupting you. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
And we can continue to keep interrupting him.
Yeah, well,
Oh yeah, we can if you want us to.
well, yeah. Hey, come on, give me more. Is that all you got?
Nope, not all I
Nah,
got.
you got the floor.
Okay.
I cede the rest of my time to Jimmy.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we've all been seeing this coming, right? We knew it was going to happen, right? And it's really good to see it happen. And now it makes you wonder, well, what are the cable companies going to do? And I saw something. I think it was maybe a couple of weeks ago, where now Comcast is now offering their streaming service now. So if you go out onto Comcast's website, you can see a streaming service that they offer now.
Well, if you go right to the next story.
Yeah, interesting. Comcast kind of, maybe even realizing this is happening all along, has now offered a new service for $5 a month. They will offer you a streaming TV box, which includes all kinds of streaming options that the Comcast boxes generally support nowadays. And it comes with their X1 remote. They're highly taught about X1 remote, and has a similar interface to their Xfinity boxes for you to see all the various streaming services available. For $5 a month, it's I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that this is the Android TV TiVo joint venture that Comcast was working on a couple months ago. We read about. If you look at the interface, it does look very Android TV.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, actually, it looks like my old Android TV, but yeah, I mean, this is a chance for Comcast to lock people into their ecosystem and say, hey, yeah, you don't need one of those convoluted Fire Rokus and their Apple boxes. That's too complicated. Just use our box and you get all the Comcast stuff and access to the stuff that you want to know, and I think there will be and then also it doesn't cost. I mean, it costs you $5 rental, essentially, kind of like a modem. So yeah, why spend $50 on that thing, on that Roku? You can just rent this for $5 a month for the next 6 years.
That's true. Well, they obviously for $5 a month they'll make their money back after some time.
Oh yeah.
But the Roku is $30 not anymore. It's not $50 anymore or $100 like it used to be.
No, there's still a 50. I mean, I was going to a middle of the road model, not the base.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, because like the Ultra is like 80. So, yeah, I there's a market out there for this.
I think you're right. I think there is. Still, I wouldn't recommend it for anybody.
Oh no, absolutely not.
And that is the news this week.
No, you missed something.
Did I miss something?
You missed something because we talked about MoviePass last week. We talked about MoviePass brought back their unlimited streaming for it's like $25 or whatever. And but there's another person on the block that decided they want to get in on this.
Yeah, Alamo Drafthouse decided they did want to be able to offer unlimited movies using a season pass with a monthly fee of $20 a month, which will allow you to go ahead and watch movies as much as you want. Beer isn't included apparently, so you'll still have to buy your concessions there.
Yeah, and I'm kind of bummed because I was intrigued. I know Al-Anon loves the AMC offering. But I'm not a fan of AMC theaters, so but I am a fan of Alamo, and I would jump on this in a heartbeat, except there's one Alamo near me. It's already a half hour away from me and potentially could be a lot further in the next few months, so it's not something I can take advantage of. So
yeah, same with me, Clyde. I mean, if I had one of these near me, I would at least try this out.
Yeah.
Right. But
for $20, how can you not?
Yeah, absolutely. In a premium, theater like this, heck yeah.
I mean, it works for them because, I mean, dude, Alamo could just give away free tickets with food purchase. I mean, you go in there, free ticket. You're still gonna walk out spending probably like $20 on food. Because I mean, what are you gonna be the only schlub in the theater not purchasing something in the bring, in the theater that caters to bringing you food? So I mean, yeah, this is a win.
Yeah.
This is a win.
Oh, absolutely. They just need more outlets. That's
Yeah,
all.
and like Al-Anon says, he'd love to switch to an Alamo, but there isn't one near me, and
Yeah,
that's the
same with me.
problem. And I think that's how this is really going to work for them.
Yep.
And it might actually work for them to get into new markets,
Yep.
to up demand, because now you've got people clamoring, we need an Alamo. Before it was like, oh, that's interesting, that Alamo thing. Now you have people demanding an Alamo in their area so they can, get unlimited movies for $20. Yeah. And M Beam remembers the Alamo.
Yeah.
As well you should.
Maybe we should pick it.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's the general consensus in the chat that everybody wants to take advantage of this deal, but nobody has one nearby. So
That's right. Yeah. I know that feeling. I don't have one near me either.
all right. Well, then that will wrap up the news and or roundtable discussion. And quickly, this is the point where we like to thank all those amazing patrons out there that work day in, day out with blood, sweat, and tears to earn the money that helps them survive. And then they, out of the generosity and kindness in their hearts, they give a little bit of that to us. To those that support this show on a monthly basis, we salute you. If you would like to be one of those people that gets saluted, throw us a buck. We're here every Wednesday, and we we love to be here. And we, this happens because the amazing people that support us. Parking dog. Salute. One of these days, we'll coordinate and we'll give you guys a 21 gun salute. We'll have to ship a gun or two to Mike, or to Matt.
Can I use a Nerf gun? I got Nerf guns.
No, but in all seriousness, yeah, we love our patrons. You guys are awesome. We appreciate your support. If you are not currently a patron and you would like to support us, that is patreon.com/the VOD Squad. And one of these days we'll figure out how to do this segment without being completely awkward.
No, I think
unless the patrons say no, keep being awkward.
Right now, the awkwardness is part of it. That's just how it goes.
So
just part of the spiel.
But what is not awkward? Big Voice Jay with the Movie Draft Minute.
Never.
Welcome to your Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of March 25th, 2019. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay. Pro tip, if you're being attacked by clowns, dispatch them quickly by going for the juggler. Let's go to the scoreboard. Teams Virtual Misery, VOD Squad, Drunk Kids Gaming, and Game Night are all tied for last place, still waiting for the first film. Team Movie Party's in second place thanks to a strong debut from us, bringing their total to $71.1 million. And in first place, thanks to Hotel Mumbai and Captain Marvel, its team Have a Drink with $320.8 million. That's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of March 27, 2019.
Yeah. So, thank you, Jordan Peele, for making me some money.
Yes. Good job.
That was a good 71 opening weekend, and an additional 14 through the week. I wouldn't be surprised to be at 150 come next week, but then I don't expect to see much more. But looking at the schedule, there's some time.
Yeah.
So
Next, so we were. I'm looking at my spreadsheet of what we thought we should pay for that, and we averaged out about paying $9 for it, and you paid what, only $7 for it. So
yep.
You're doing just fine. You're going to
yeah.
make your money back.
I've already made my money back. When it hit 70 million,
You were happy. You're looking at
$7 is 70 million, so
that the math is actually going to be a little higher due to how much money was in the pool. So, but you did good. You did pretty good. So, this is a good choice for this.
Right now it's the movie value per is 12,158,000 per game dollar spent. So
the next question is, next weekend we're going to have Dumbo. And do you think it's going to be able to make enough money for game night to? I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag. It doesn't have to make a lot of money.
I think Dumbo will knock me out of second place, but I don't think it's going to get them into first.
Well, I don't think it'll get them into first either. But that's not the point. They only spent $17 on it, so they basically need to make 150 million would be a really nice number out of that.
Being that it's a summer movie, and summer movies typically earn much more than winter season, I wouldn't be surprised to see them get 200 for this movie. Okay. But I don't know. I mean, it could be that like come out of nowhere. I might be underestimating it, but yeah.
I don't think it'll do 200 unless when is spring break?
Like now.
That week? No, the April 1st is spring break for us.
For many people.
Weekend.
Some people are on spring break right now. It depends. Yeah.
Okay.
It could be good for spring break.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe it's a good spring break movie.
Maybe.
Maybe. It doesn't seem like the movie that the teenage crowd is particularly going to be interested in.
Well, the teenagers won't like it, but I'm talking about the ones that are younger than teenagers.
I'm kidding.
And the moms.
Yeah. So I don't know, but April 5th you get Shazam and Pet Sematary.
Sorry, Dumbo is a horrible movie about slave labor and horrible parenting and all kinds of bad stuff. It's horrible.
Absolutely. Bullying and alcoholism
and faith in things that aren't supposed to happen, but they do in the end. And oh my gosh, it's kind of messed up.
I remember in kindergarten
Bad reminds us the racist crows. I didn't even remember them.
Oh yeah. Yes. I remember. So when I was in kindergarten, every year the kindergarten class has like a sleepover at the school, right? Where everybody brings their sleeping bag and you watch movies and you play games and stuff, right? I remember that is the one and only time that I saw Dumbo, and that movie was terrifying.
It's scary. And
the only thing I remember about that is that movie.
And of course, we're all forgotten. Now I've just remembered there's a psychedelic scene in that movie.
Well, that was when he was drunk.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
He was so drunk, he was having a psychedelic fit.
Yes. And I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know if all this is going to make it to the film.
I definitely am not going to be taking my kids to see this. So, yeah, and this is, Al-Anon points out, it's been done once and it's pretty good.
I think you're talking about.
I am absolutely against remaking anything that doesn't need to be remade. If there isn't, like the first Ocean's 11. Okay, I understood that because the original Ocean's 11 was a terrible movie. Just because they didn't care, they just made it and were partying all the time, and so not really putting their A game into it. So something like that. Okay, yes.
Remake a bad movie, you're all for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
You
right.
know,
Well,
like Evil Dead 2 was a remake of the first one. They actually had a budget and they were
Yep.
able to put a little bit into it. And
it was a much better movie.
it was a much better movie for different. I mean, they're both great movies for
they
different
are.
reasons. But, you know, some things deserve a remake. But just remaking something for the sake of remaking it.
Oh, okay.
Stop.
Well, in that case, Dumbo being remade might be a good thing if they can, fix all these problems we have with the original.
But those aren't really problems. Those are the
Yes,
things
they
that
are.
that define the movie. I mean,
Oh.
it was a good movie, but yeah.
Okay. We'll see. I actually hope that they completely remake the film, leaving the original, its classic self. And if you want that, go watch that movie. But I don't want to see a psychedelic sequence in the live action version of this movie.
But that's part of the story.
Yeah, I don't want. I don't want that. I'm sorry.
You just want to see the point where he vomits out of his trunk
Oh no, I don't want to see that
and
either.
like a fire hose.
No.
Go see that
Oh.
one in 3D.
No. All right. That's. I'm done talking about Dumbo.
Okay. So I just want to point out something in regards to the draft. I noticed as of April 5th, Have a Drink will have had all of their movies except for one out.
Yes, they will.
So,
Shazam better make them some serious money.
yep. But they do have Detective Pikachu in May, which will be their last movie. It's going to be a long summer for them if they're not, like, secure up
Yep.
on a high pedestal.
Yeah, they're gonna be sitting on top for a little while, and then they're gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, if they're not, like, perched all the way up at the top of the mountain, it's going to be a long, miserable wait as you wait and see how far down you slide.
well, they already have 400 million,
Yes.
so they're doing good.
No,
Get a couple
they're
others,
doing okay.
they're gonna be fine.
But-
It's a good start out of the gate for them. We'll be catching up, and it'll be fun to watch. So that's good.
I think between Shazam and Pikachu, they should be able to get at least another 400 million. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I mean, they should be sitting at the 600 to 800. But it's all going to come down to September 6th.
So you think Shazam's going to do how much?
I
Oh.
said it'll do like 150 to 200,
Shazam is going to do very well.
Yeah.
Shazam-
despite it
Shazam-
being a Christmas movie. You guys heard about that, right?
I think you told us a couple weeks ago.
Oh, no, Tom talked about it on Card
Oh.
Killers. Shazam takes place around Christmas.
Oh.
It was meant to come out during the Christmas season, but it got
Oh.
bumped because Aquaman got delayed.
Oh.
So
Okay.
hopefully it doesn't have the It's a Wonderful Life effect, where It's a Wonderful Life bombed because it was a Christmas movie that came out in like March.
Well, this isn't being advertised as a Christmas movie. I don't even realize
No,
that.
it's not. But
It's going to be fine.
It
It won't have that effect.
So
Yeah, I'm not convinced it'll be 200 million that movie will make, but maybe it will. I don't know.
No, it's getting a lot of buzz. It's kid friendly. It's DC Universe. It's going to make
basically
lots of money.
kid friendly Deadpool, from what people are saying.
It's DC movie big. Tom Hanks big.
Yeah. So and like you said,
For both directions. One of those two directions, this should make sense. Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse did almost 200 million, right? Did like 175, I think, there at the end. And I think this will do similar numbers.
It'll do that. It
Yeah,
sounds right.
so 150 to 200, I wouldn't be surprised. Much more than that, it's possible, but I don't think it's very plausible. So
We'll see.
Yeah.
It could be big.
it
It's
could be.
Could be a huge hit.
It could be big because it already is big.
Yep.
All right.
Alrighty, well, then we should probably get into some rants and some raves. And that is the Movie Draft Minute.
Welcome to your Movie Draft Minute.
Gonna work.
And I just
It's
broke
not-
it.
Ah.
All right.
Rants and raves. Okay. how's that?
There's my rant and my rave. Um, who wants
All
to
right.
go?
So I was sick last week, and so I had extra time to do various fun things. We watched some shows, we played some games, we did all kinds of fun things during the week. As far as what you guys might be interested in, I watched. We finally sat down and got started watching Mrs. Maisel, season two, and that first episode was, or first one or two episodes, I can't remember, was pretty good. We went to the theaters and saw Captain Marvel. And no, it's a good movie. It's nothing wrong with it.
I didn't like it, so that's why I did so much money.
Cat steals the show. And Mythbusters Junior is actually was like whatever happened to those guys, and I was flipping through, and the Science Channel has Mythbusters Junior, and it is a wonderful, basically another season of Mythbusters, just with the. Okay.
I sorry. Let me guess. It's like Muppet Babies style, child versions of Jamie and what's his face?
And Adam.
Adam.
No Jamie, just Adam.
Oh.
Adam's there, and he's basically taking these 12, 13, 14-year-old kids who are like ahead of their class and builders and science projects and all that, and they're running the tests. And he's just basically overseeing it and doing the whole Mythbusters stick with them. And it runs just like a normal Mythbusters show. It's a little bit heavy on the advertisements, at least the first episode was. But yeah, it felt like Mythbusters. It was good. I enjoyed it, and I will continue watching it. And we'll see. Hopefully that it keeps on trucking with more episodes and more seasons.
I really want to see a 10-year-old Jamie Heineman with the big goatee. Yes. 10-year-old. Just like I imagine what's his face from Parks and Rec had when he was 10. So rock on.
Once a Jamie Heineman puppet. I think it's a bald king with a beret and a very large mustache. You don't need much more than that.
Just a Cthulhu. Put the Cthulhu thing over the mouth. Oh, actually, if you make him red, you now have Zoidberg. Voiced by Adam Savage. Oh, that would be even. I think Jamie would not take too kindly to that.
Not so happy about that, I'm certain.
So, alrighty, Jimmy.
Yeah, and speaking of Ocean's 11, me and my wife watched the remake this past weekend. Every now and then we'll go back and watch one of our favorite movies like that. Watched it again, and I'll tell you, even after a fair amount of time, that movie still holds up, right?
Ocean's 11 and 12 and 13, all three of them are good movies, if you ask me.
Yeah.
All three.
Yeah. Not too bad there.
Yeah.
But so I'm a little excited. I was checking out the Amazon Prime today and saw that the new Bosch season 5 is coming April 19th, right? So always excited to see that new season come out, and I usually go through that pretty quickly. Right?
And you are watching Billions, right?
Not yet. I'm letting about 2 or 3 episodes go by, and then I'm going to subscribe. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait one more week, and then that 4th weekend I'll subscribe then, and then start watching it.
All right.
Yeah, but I can't wait. I'm stoked about that one too.
I'm digging it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I haven't been, as we talked about before, I don't use Netflix a lot anymore. I'll pop in there and I don't really find anything. Netflix kind of makes it hard for me to discover like I used to. I mean, they like to hide my list. Sometimes it's like nowhere to be found and you have to dig and dig and dig just to find the stuff you have in your queue.
Right.
So I went in there and I had to search because I read about a thing called The Dirt. Have you guys watched it?
I saw that out there, but I don't know the premise of it.
I was kind of bummed because I went into it thinking it was a series, but it's actually a 2-hour movie, the story of Motley Crue.
Really?
And it's actually pretty decent.
Really?
And it's got what's his face, who is in Billions and was in Breaking Bad, David Costable.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And it's
really?
weird seeing David Costable clean shaven. I kept thinking it was Matt. I mean, his hair is a little bit thinner, but yeah, we'll have to find a picture. But
I think he was clean shaven in Breaking Bad, I believe.
Was he? I thought he had a goatee or a mustache or something. But maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I'm remembering him.
I only remember him from. I mainly remember him from Suits and Billions.
Suits
Both of
Billions,
which he has facial hair. So,
right.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was. They did not go out of their way to gloss over any of the terrible things, and they it was based on their book. So I think I'd recommend it. Check it out, The Dirt.
The Dirt. I'm going to check that out. That sounds pretty interesting.
Lots of topless ladies, because Motley Crue.
Well, if I have to.
Yeah. Ozzy, dude that plays Ozzy Osbourne is hilarious, and yeah. So, alrighty. Well, this is where we start to wrap things up. Thanks everybody for hanging out there in the chat. You guys make this worth it. We'd probably still do this if you weren't here, but it would not be nearly as much fun.
No.
And, if you're checking this out after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central. We've been doing it for 125 episodes. I think we've got another 125 to go.
Well, and we're done?
Well, I mean,
we're going to quit at 250?
We've got at least another 125 in us.
Sure.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Just saying. We should be around for at least another 125. We'll reevaluate at some point.
But maybe we'll graduate from a squad to a company.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so that's, like I said, 9 p.m. Central on Twitch. You just search for the VOD Squad, you'll find us. Again, thank you to all the loyal patrons. You guys are near and dear to our hearts. I can't say enough how much I enjoy having you around. One thing to note, this Saturday is the March movie party. We are apparently having a Leprechaun theme. We will be watching Leprechaun 4 in space. That was the patron pick, overwhelmingly. If you go to Twitter to @DC Movie Party, the poll is up, the public poll for the second movie. There is the original Leprechaun with Jennifer Aniston. There is Leprechaun 6, Back to the Hood. There is Leprechaun 2, I think. And also, there's a movie called Getting Lucky, which is like a 80s high school goofball movie about a guy that finds a leprechaun and uses it to sleep with women or girls. And then also Darby O'Gill. So
okay, I've got a question about the Leprechaun movies since I have not seen any of them.
Uh-huh.
Do they all star Warwick Davis?
Up until he died, right?
No, Warwick is still alive.
Oh, I thought he recently died.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's
Yeah,
still
pretty
alive.
much. The first one was kind of more serious. They get a little bit looser as they go on. But yes, he is Leprechaun.
The whole series. Awesome. Good for
That's
him.
like the only thing that unites all those movies.
All right.
Yeah, so currently Darby O'Gill, which is probably one of the first Disney movies we've actually considered for Movie Party. And if you've never seen Darby O'Gill and the Little People, that movie is terrifying. That is
I think I have
not
seen it.
a kid's movie. So yeah, go ahead, go out there and vote. Even if you're not going to join us, you can dictate what we're going to watch. If you don't know what to vote for and you're just going to vote for the sake of it, I say getting lucky could be a lot of fun. Take that any way you want. And with that, I bid thee adieu. Stick around for the post show. Everybody else, we'll see you later.
Good night.
See you next week.
Bye.